Hi everybody, thanks for joining me for today's video. My name is David. This channel is Damar's Coaching, and this video is another video about borderline personality disorder. If you guys are interested and want to see more about this topic, I have a playlist called Borderline Personality Disorder. Feel free to go check them out. I don't even know how many are in there anymore, 50 to 100. Here's another one. I'm going to talk about, in the title I'm calling it subtraits. This isn't technical, medical, anything like that. This is things I've gathered from my own experience with people that have this disorder and helping people that have people with this disorder in their life. Learned a lot about people with this disorder. So I'm going to talk about some of the things that you may not hear in the DSM or from a mental health professional, stuff like this, and stuff that is not in the typical diagnostic traits. So therapists, mental health professionals that diagnose their patients and clients with mental health disorders use the DSM-5, Diagnostic Statistics Manual of Mental Disorders. And there's a specific criteria to diagnose someone with borderline personality disorder. There's 9 diagnostic traits. They must have at least 5. It's got to be pervasive pattern of these things. I'm going to just read them first, give you an example, and then I'm going to get into 12 different things that they do. So if you want to call them subtraits. First one, frantic efforts to avoid real or imagined abandonment. An example of this is cheating, accusations, and taking frantic efforts. So maybe they will, I've seen a borderline fly across the country because they thought their boyfriend was out with another girl. That's pretty frantic. I mean, you know, we're talking about a 5-hour flight that you have to pay for and wait for and all that. I mean, to get there that night just because you think he's cheating and he wasn't. Just sitting at a bar by himself, waiting for her to come home. Number 2. A pattern of unstable and intense interpersonal relationships characterized by alternating between extremes of idealization and devaluation. This is people in their life, in their past. You can ask them about this, and you can ask them how they felt about somebody that was so bad to them, that was so toxic, so abusive, and they thought they were great in the beginning, much like a lot of us, huh? And let me be clear too, guys. As I'm reading this, all of you are going to have done some of these things, are doing some of these things. Very specific criteria for the disorder. So please, this isn't for you guys to have more self-doubt and say, is it me? Am I the bad guy? Do I have borderline? No. If you're concerned about that, go to a doctor, see a doctor, therapist. Ask them. Okay? Don't diagnose yourself or other people. This pattern of unstable relationships that you, like I said, you'll see in their history. You will see this with maybe their mother. So bad, so good. So bad, so good. So bad, you know, awful, most worst person in the world one night, and then they're out to lunch with them the next day. Where are you? I'm out with my mom. Oh, it's all good now. Like nothing they said mattered. And they do this with you, right? Black and white. But idealization, develop. You're amazing. You're awful. You're an angel. You're the devil. Can't just be bad service at a restaurant. Bad service at a restaurant, if you went there one time, then you had bad service from one server. Most restaurants have a few servers. They also have maybe a bartender, a hostess, manager, cooks, dishwashers, right? Lots of different employees, but the borderline will get bad service and believe the whole restaurant is awful. Number 3, identity disturbance, markedly and persistently unstable self-image or sense of self. If you know borderline, you don't need an example of this. You've got one, many of them. I statements are inaccurate. I this, I that, I this, I feel this way, and then the next thing I feel that way, and then I don't like you, and I like this, and I want to do this, I don't want to do this, I'm scared of this, I like it. Lonely, bored, scared. Signs of unstable self-image. And you know, low self-respect, low self-worth, low self-esteem. Number 4 is impulsivity in at least 2 areas that are potentially self-damaging. 2 areas. The 3 biggest are work, relationships, and living. So I'm going to get into the work. That is a lot of controversy. with borderlines. Living. I don't know any borderlines that stayed in the same place for years and years and years. I just don't. It's always, I'm at my friend's house, and then I go back home, and then I kind of got my own place with a roommate, but then I moved in with my boyfriend, and then that boyfriend was treating me bad and kicked me out, and I went over to another guy's. I mean, just, you know, I just moved out of a place I lived for 9 years. Yeah. They would have lived in 23 different places in that time. Not all. So I think impulsivity, just impulsive behaviors. You're going to see cheating, drinking, and here's a big one, running away from you. This is something that I hear so much from people that have borderlines in their life. Things I've seen borderlines do. It's amazing. It's amazing. You'll be riding down the street in a cab, and as soon as the cab stops for a light or a stop sign, boom, they're out of the car, they're gone. You're with them at a park, you know, like an amusement park, there's people around. You see them gone. Stuff like this. Disappear. Run away. Want you to chase them. Number 5, recurrent suicidal behavior, gestures or threats, or self-mutilating behavior. A history, and all of this is a history, patterns, right? Emotional blackmail is what I call threats of the S word. Taking your own life. Threatening. If you leave, I'll do that. I'll take myself out. If you break up with me, if you go out tonight, if you see her, if you talk to her again, if you do this, I'm going to take my life. Anytime someone says that, call the police. It's not your responsibility to keep people from doing that. You can't. You can't control people, and it's a crime. And when we see crime, we report it. Especially a crime about to happen. How would you like someone to take their own life and they told you 10 times they were going to do it over the last 10 years and you did nothing about it? Think about that. I'd at least feel better if I knew I called the police when they told me that last time. Out of the 10 times, the 10th time, I called the police at least. And then the 11th, they actually did it. I'd feel a lot better, wouldn't you? I did something. Explaining to people that, you know, that your partner you lived with took their own life, trying to explain to them that they tried 10 times or told you or threatened it 10 times, and they ask, well, what did you do? And you're like, nothing. Okay? That's what we do with people that want to threaten that stuff. They want attention, you give them attention. You send 5 police officers over to their house. They'll get all kinds of attention. Then go to the hospital where they need to be, get more attention from more doctors and patients. Okay. Number 6, affective instability due to a marked reactivity of mood. Affect, the way I like my facial affect. I'm disgusted with you. I'm angry. I'm excited. I'm joyful. Okay? This will flutter, not make sense, not match their mood. Okay? And one, you'll get, this is a huge one, irritability. People with personality disorder, especially cluster B, will often get very, very irritated and be irritable. Think of it as like a defense mechanism, almost, to feel more control and stable, to not lose it. Just be irritated. God, your anger. Here's an example. I want to know how many of you know a borderline or knew one for a pretty good period of time. Maybe it'd be easier to say, who knew a borderline for a couple of years who never said this, never called you this. You're so annoying. Those are just the infamous borderline words, isn't it? Quote, God, you're so annoying. You're so annoying. So annoying. They might say it hundreds of times. Number 7, chronic feelings of emptiness. Good example is they'll literally say, I feel empty. I feel empty inside. I don't know who I am. Number 8, inappropriate, intense anger or difficulty controlling anger. The V word, violins, right? And that's yelling, screaming, hitting stuff, hitting you, banging on things, breaking stuff, yelling, threats. We never threaten people. Don't ever let people threaten you, and you take them all extremely serious. That's how you hold people accountable to threats. You take it 100% serious. Like they're going to do it no matter what. And then what are you going to do? Number 9. Transient, stress-related, paranoid, ideation, or severe dissociative symptoms. The biggest one is just the false accusations, man. That fear of abandonment, that you're going to leave me, cheat on me, I'm not good enough, what are you doing to me? And then it's got, are you hurting me? I mean, these people are so hyper-vigilant. They can't protect themselves. All they can do is try to run and run and run from it. They have no idea what else to do. These people will end relationships immediately. Known for it. I'm not saying they will all the time. No, these are also people that'll stay in a 50-year relationship that's toxic and tumultuous as hell. They'll stay. But that'll get me into more of the subtraits. Let's get into those. Okay. These are 12 different ones. I tried to pick stuff that wasn't in there. Okay. And one is obsession. Obsession. You'll often see borderlines on the internet attacking people, obsessed with people. Not the 2 to 5 year smear campaign. Those are sociopaths. I'm talking about, the one who will have a smear campaign for a month and talk bad about their ex-boyfriend, how horrible they are. Usually it's everything they did, but that they can't accept about themselves. But obsession means no life. If there's anybody that doesn't have a life, it's a borderline. They can't have any meaningful relationships with anybody. They're so impulsive. They're not stable. They're not concurrent. They end relationships drastically. And so they have no life. Feeling empty inside. People that are obsessed on other people have no life. People on the internet obsessing on other people, that's all they do. Addicted to the internet, have no life. Very, very obsessive people. I think you can, go back to your teenage years when we get obsessed on someone famous. I think that says it. Unattainable people. Borderlines are infamous for going after unattainable people. They might try to date their therapist, life coach, someone's father, a boss, police officer, judge, lawyer, associated with them in their cases. Unattainable, somebody I can't get, like the teenager who wants someone famous. I'm going to obsess on this famous person and talk about them all the time, and I'm going to associate myself with them somehow, link myself to them, idealize. Right? Commonly, child abuse, child neglect. Big one, molested, sexual abuse as a child. Some even think they have and they haven't. It's common when you're abused enough in a household, you might believe that you were sexually violated. Feelings of it, thoughts of it that you may have. Borderlines, very commonly they have been, and also some haven't and they think they were. Okay? The false accusations. And a lot of these are pretty close to the diagnostic traits from paranoid ideation. But delusional. Black and white, hypervigilance, always trying to keep myself safe. The best way is to constantly think everybody's bad and everybody's up to something, everybody's going to hurt me, and you're a bad guy. And I'm a victim, meaning I haven't healed from all this stuff in my childhood. So I'm still a victim, still believe I'm a victim. All you have to do is come along and just add a little to it, and oh, look what you did. You're just like the rest of them. You're an abuser. You're bad. You're evil. You need to go to jail. Lots and lots of guys and girls in jail for never hitting their spouse or partner. But that's why they're in there. Very, very common. Be careful who you invite in your house, in your home, in your heart. These are the false accusers. This in histrionic, man. Jeez. They'll think someone raped them, didn't even have sex. They initiated sex, get accused of rape. I mean, you hit me, you beat me. A borderline will beat someone for 10 years and accuse someone of beating them for 10 years. And they never laid a hand on them. They believe it. Delusional. They believe their own lies. Anxiety disorders, depression. So common with borderline. I mean, I think that every borderline's got some degree of anxiety problems, and they might have anxiety disorders. Very, very common, usually do. Generalized anxiety, social anxiety, situational, depression. Self-deprecating. I'm so stupid. God, I mean, I'm going over literally some of the biggest things they say all the time. Lacking empathy. Okay? They may be a little grandiose sometimes, they may be entitled to, and they lack some empathy, and this is why you guys think they're all narcissists. But the textbooks like to call it difficulty feeling empathy, or lacking awareness of how their behaviors affect others. Or we can just call it what it is in 2 words and say lacking empathy. They lack empathy, period. There is nobody that's abusing someone and is fully aware of it, and lots of empathy. No, it's all about them. It's all about the pain they have inside and inflicting it on others as a release. That is not empathy. Future. Now, a lot of this in borderline is so close to antisocial, psychopath, sociopath. Very common traits. Matter of fact, you could almost say antisocial, we're borderline first. Borderline as a child and entered adulthood became a sociopath. I know sociopaths diagnosed with BPD. Goals, plans, aspirations. Real trouble is planning the future. Have you guys noticed that? And I know you have. We're planning a party. We're planning a job, a company, vacation. They just won't do it. It's just unstable, even in planning. The future is unstable. They can't focus, they can't concentrate, they don't care, they get annoyed, or it's so ridiculous, it's unattainable goals, never going to happen. Oh, all these are massive plans, haven't done one thing in 2 years to get you anywhere closer to that. Not one little thing. I mean, gosh, I could plan a ski trip to the Swiss Alps. I could at least buy myself a pair of gloves. I did something. Psychosis. Something they don't talk about. Borderline refers to the line of neurosis and psychosis. Psychosis is a big gray area, and they know it well. They go in and out, in and out, in and out. Lose it. Completely lose it. You guys said their eyes turn black. That's her pupils that big. Talk about looking for danger. Psychosis. The borderline meltdown. And here I'm going to get into work. So, borderlines, as we know, so unstable. Unstable self-awareness, unstable emotionally, unstable in relationships, unstable moving around, and they can be very unstable with work. But this is the one right here, the one that defies borderline, that they do. Really. Because the thing about a borderline, like I said, they're obsessive, and they'll go all in, and they're black and white. And typically the borderline who keeps that stable job, who somehow finished school, and now they have a career, and they've had it for years, they may not be able to function in any other part of life, because a workaholic means I can't manage my life. I'm going to stay in this brain, my work brain, because this one sucks. That's my workaholic. There's nobody that would rather just work than have a life. It's because their life sucks. They don't have one. Can't manage it. Can't control it. Nothing. I can control work though. Scheduled, I work, I get paid, and I do my same job every day. Borderlines can stay to that for a long time, but often can't pay any attention, time, energy, focus into anything else in order to do that. Because I know that's something that you guys would battle with. And extreme sexually. Remember I said very common to be molested as a child, and it's over 70% of women who are raped in adulthood have been molested as a child. Extremely sexual. They might be hypersexual starting at 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, something like that. Even I've heard it even as 5 years old. And this could come out as hyper sexual. I want sex all the time. You have to have sex with me all the time. Even when I'm sleeping, I need to know that I'm wanted and needed. And right. Or that's how I get attention from everybody. I can't stop. I'm going to leave you and go have sex with people. Or the other extreme. I don't have sex. I've met borderlines, diagnosed borderlines in their 40s, still virgins. Think about that. Withholding sex is a huge one. Having a relationship with a borderline. 4 years, you had sex 6 times. That's a lot of no's, right? No, 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 no. Most people want sex more than 6 times with the person they're in love with. Withholding sex. Lacking self-preservation. That is an antisocial trait, sociopath, psychopath, and it is with borderline too. Big time. It's just not in the diagnosis. Risky behaviors. No seatbelt, driving fast, no condoms, no nothing for diseases, having sex with strangers, one-night stands, lacking self-preservation, could take drugs, alcohol, and just completely lose it. Blackout drunk in 1 hour. Just what are you doing? You know you can't handle that. Boom, boom, boom. Impulsivity. Lacking self-preservation, go off with someone completely dangerous, right? You know this person might have even killed someone. I mean, they're that volatile and dangerous, and they just leave with them. No problem. That's it. That's my dozen subtraits. Will you guys please tell me some examples that you have that I didn't mention, because there's more. There's at least 20 common things that borderlines do. So I went over, 21 today, but there's more, okay? There's more. I'd love to hear examples. They're always great when you guys do that. And let me know what you think of my examples, okay? I'm sure you guys have some questions. Please ask. I'll answer them always. And always, you guys love yourself first, okay? I'll see you again later.